episode 54 of the What Shara Made podcast. Welcome back if you are a returning viewer, and a big hello if you are a brand new viewer this week. I have got a couple of FOs and a couple of whips, and you might notice I am wearing an FO, and it is a 100% an FO because I spent many hours weaving in ends yesterday. I almost spent an entire day weaving in ends yesterday, so it's completely done, so I can now wear it. It is my famous Disco Toast brioche sweater. Sparkly Disco Toast sweater, which gave a few people some chuckles in the last episode, that name. I think that now officially has to be the name of the sweater. It wasn't the intention for that to be the name, but that's what came out, so that's what's happening. You can see it's entirely done. I don't know if I can show you the whole thing, but you can see it's double-sided. I can indeed wear it inside out. I decided I better weave in the ends in such a way that I could wear it inside out and back to front, and there's no front and back or right way or wrong side or anything like that. I literally could put it on any which way and it would still be right, so that's good. You can get dressed in the dark and still be fine. That's good for me. It's super toasty warm. I was right, it's very warm. I did have to spin a tiny bit more. I think in the last episode I might have mentioned that. I did have to spin a tiny little bit more yarn to complete the sleeves, and I had a tiny little bit of yarn left once I had done that. And it's all done. I really love it. You can see the neckline here, it's not too low. The sleeves are bracelet length, which is what I wanted for me. It's brioche all the way. I think you can probably get a good idea of that from this. It's all hand spun and it is all different sorts of fibres. My initial intention for this sweater was to bust some of my fibre stash, because I have had all these 100 gram bumps or 4 ounce bumps of all different sorts of fibres, but there's only so much you can do with once you've spun a 100 gram bump of fibre. I mean, you can make a hat, or you could make some mittens, or you can make a little scarf or a cowl or something, and there's only so many of those that you can use. And of course you could combine two and make something with stripes, or do some colour work, and I was sort of running out of ideas, and I kept going to fibre festivals or fibre markets and buying these beautiful braids of fibre that are gorgeous and I couldn't leave behind, but then not having really anything to do with them. So I thought I better bust some out of my stash, and I had the idea to spin them all of a similar weight, roughly a DK, and then I could knit them into a brioche sweater all together, combine them in this sort of stripy kind of combo thing. And then I decided I probably needed a little bit more, and I needed some slight variations in colours to get this idea to work and to have enough for an actual sweater, so I ended up adding to the stash. But I did bust quite a bit out of the stash, so that's good. And now that I know that this idea works, I feel like I can bust quite a bit more out of the stash, and it was not difficult. And it was pretty quick, like to get a whole sweater. It wasn't tricky, and if I didn't have any other projects on the go, I probably could have done it in the whole lot, like spin to finish sweater. Easily could have done it in a month. Probably less if I really put my mind to it. But yeah, really happy with it. So that is the Disco Toast brioche sweater. I'm really happy with the way the shaping worked. That took a lot of brain power, like a lot, for my little brain to cope with, because I'm not a superstar with maths. I did have to draw some pictures and yeah, it took a lot. But once I figured it out and figured out that ratio, I was like, oh, that makes sense now. And then I was off. I was racing, couldn't stop me, and I had the yoke done in no time at all, and the shape of it and the ratio of it worked out really well. I think you'll agree that the shape is quite satisfying. And because there were stripes, there were like 5,000 million ends to weave in. There was no carrying ends along with this many different colours in the stripes. That was not happening. So I did have to cut every time I finished a stripe. So I did have a lot of ends to weave in. And because I wanted it to be 100% reversible, I did have to be quite thoughtful when I was weaving in the ends. And it was quite good because hand spun is very forgiving when you're weaving in ends. It will hide its own ends very well. So that wasn't too hard, to be honest. It did take a long time simply because of the volume of ends, but it was good. They're all good. I could, just before when I was holding my arm up, I thought I could see a little end somewhere there, but maybe I couldn't. Maybe I'm imagining it. Anyway, very pleased with my sparkly Disco Toast brioche sweater, and it is so cozy. Like getting a hug the whole time I'm wearing it. And the sleeves almost, now that I'm looking at them like this, they don't really match, but I did my best to try and get them to match. There is some slight shaping up the interior of the sleeves, just so that the sleeves weren't too flappy, but there's no shaping on the body. I just used the natural light stretch of the rib to be the shaping, but there's no shaping on the body. Very, very simple sweater. Really happy with it. And speaking of sweaters, I will move on to my next whip. So from FO to whip, with a little drink in between. Very unusual. I'm drinking coffee today. I normally have tea in almost every episode, but I've got coffee today. So this FO, I don't think I had started it at all my last episode, so this will be a fresh whip. I think I might have just called it an FO, but it's a whip, obviously. It's on the needles. This is another brioche sweater. Wearing one, making one. Sorry, dangling things on the table. Trying to avoid dangling the needles on the table, dangled the stitch marker on the table instead. So, this is, I might just try and have my little mat here so I can avoid doing that dangling on the table again. I've got, it's probably going to be a little bit tricky to see because of the fact that it is still on the needles, but you'll get the idea. Very long end there that probably needs trimming, but anyway, you'll get the idea. This is basically a very similar thing to this. It's a raglan top-down brioche sweater. This one, oh, you really can't see it, but it's pretty much the same thing that I'm wearing, but on a smaller gauge. It is, I'm sort of looking at it in mirror image on the screen, trying to straighten it up. Not happening well, is it? So it looks twisted, but it isn't. Why am I not able to straighten this up? Oh, anyway, it isn't twisted, it is indeed a straight raglan. Why does that not want to straighten up? This is really challenging my little brain here. Anyway, let's just pretend this is actually raglan shaped. It is not showing up as beautiful on screen as it is in real life, which is a bummer because it's quite gorgeous. I wonder if it's coming up really kind of green on the screen, and there's zero green in the actual yarn. So I'm not sure why that's happening, but anyway, I'm hoping that I will be wearing this little guy that isn't green at all at Bendigo, maybe, if I can knit my heart out in the next few weeks. So if you get an idea of the shaping there, because the shaping is really the main decorational element for this. You can see the inside there, probably get a better idea of what's happening maybe. And there, not really. So unlike this one where I've got a very narrow neckline, I've done some ribbing, just a plain old rib crew neckline there on this, and I am writing the pattern as I go for this one with the hopes of releasing it so that everyone can have a brioche sweater. And this one is knit with a very chunky DK2 worsted weight yarn, so on a really big gauge, so it went super quick. This one is on quite a fine gauge because it's knit with fingering weight yarn. It's not going as slow as a regular fingering weight sweater because it is brioche, so it's much bulkier, bigger gauge than a regular adult fingering weight sweater. Thank goodness. But yeah, it's still taking a little bit longer. And I am using Northbound Knits. Northbound Knitting? Northbound Knits? What have I got? I've got it in here. Check, sorry, crinkling. Northbound Knitting. And I've got, it is Superwash BFL fingering. That's Blueface Leicester. And I've got the colourways Bourbon and Metallurgy. And I bought these ages ago with the sole intention of making this exact sweater. I've had this idea for a really long time, and it wasn't until I made this that it really clicked in my head how this one was going to work. And you might remember my purple and grey fingering weight brioche sweater that I had previously been knitting, and I've shown it multiple times in previous episodes. And that was working, but it wasn't working in the way that I was hoping. I was still going with that, but knowing in the back of my mind that it wasn't working how I wanted it to work. And I was apprehensive about writing a pattern that I could publish for that one, because even though it was workable, writing the pattern for it was going to be extremely complicated because the way the shaping in that particular one worked was very convoluted and involved shifting markers constantly, and that was, well, the act itself wasn't complicated. Writing it so someone else could understand it without me there guiding them through it would be very complicated and convoluted. So I wasn't sure how I would go about writing the pattern. This, the way I've done this in the same way that I did this, 100% easier. I don't know why it took me so long to figure it out, but it did. Anyway, this is this is like a adventurous beginner pattern. That other one was a 100% advanced pattern. Oh, so glad this came to me. Oh, hallelujah. Anyway, really happy with the way this is coming out. I cannot wait to have it finished because I cannot wait to wear it. Now that I'm able to wear this around and I can feel how amazing it feels to wear, I'm so excited about this. Now, for the last few days, I've been working away on it, thinking that I had miscalculated something, but thought I'm just going to keep going on it until I figure out what it is I need to do to fix it. But what I'd done, because it's knit all in one, top down, so I'm knitting the front, the sleeves, and the back all in one, top down. I'm sure you've knit a sweater like that before, so you know what I'm talking about. And I was measuring it to make sure I wasn't going over the top with the sizing, because brioche is in itself a very stretchy fabric anyway, and I didn't want to accidentally make it too big. And I was measuring it, and I thought, oh my, this is ginormous already. I'm not even halfway down the yoke, and it's huge. It's like twice as big as it already should be, and I'm not even halfway down the yoke. What have I done? I know I'm really bad at maths, but what is, like, I drew a picture with my numbers. This can't be that wrong. And for 2 days, I've been trying to figure out how I got my sums so wrong. Anyway, last night I was laying in bed and I was trying to figure it out, and I was going over all the numbers in my head, and then I got my knitting out and I was looking at it, and it was really like getting to me. And then suddenly it came to me that I'm like, oh. And I was including the sleeves in the bust measurement. It's like, oh. And so suddenly it was the bust measurement. Once I took the sleeves out of the calculation, we're back to normal. And I was like, oh, yes. Whew, that's okay. Keep going, keep going. It's good, it's good, it's good. And so now everything's back to normal and the calculations are correct as per my initial calculations and my little drawings with numbers. And so back to normal. I can keep going, which I'm very excited about. So as soon as I finish recording here, I will get back to knitting on this, which I'm really excited about. I did notice on the back, let me see if I can figure out where the back is, that I did miss. I wonder if it's even going to be, or I'm going to be able to see it. Oh, you probably can. I did miss two, where is it? Where is it? Here. I did miss 2 increases. Whoops. And I didn't notice that I had missed these 2 increases until I was about up here. And I did consider picking back, and there's not really a way to successfully unpick down and do the increases in brioche and then just do it back up. Like, there's not really a way to rescue that without unpicking, like just frogging back all the way back. There is, but it's extremely complicated and it's very hard to redo it so that it all looks the same again. With regular knitting, I could easily do that. I did it on something that I've got over here, one I could probably show you. And normally I would probably do that. I would just drop down the stitches here without frogging the rest of it, do the repair, and then pick everything, these, like the couple of columns back up rather than frogging the whole lot. But with brioche, that's not very doable. It's doable, but it's not very doable. And because it was going to be on the back anyway, and it's really only a couple of 4 stitches, I figured I could just forget about it. And it's for me anyway. If it was for someone else or for something else, or it was going to be right on the front, I would possibly consider taking it back. But because it was just for me and it's going to be on the back, forget about it. It can stay like that. But besides that, everything else is presently going smoothly with that, so I'm very happy with that. Now, my next whip doesn't look a whole lot different from the last episode. So I've got, it's a half object because we've got that one. And then I've done a tiny bit more because, oh good, part of it's come off the needles. That's always good. But not too delicate. So I've turned the heel. I may have just started doing that on the last episode. I've turned the heel and just doing the gusset now on the second sock. So these are slow going because they're my travel project. So I take these out and about and do these when I'm out and about. So that is that whip. They're still going, just not very quickly. So that's my daisy chain socks. Still going, just not very quickly. My next whip is a test crochet. Not a test knit, but a test crochet. And I'm loving it. It's really exciting. Now, these are for the lovely Deanne of Addie Day Designs, and she also has the Addie Day Designs podcast, and I'm going to put a link to that in my either in the down bar below or in the Ravelry group, because you should check out her podcast. She has a really great podcast and she makes some really amazing things. She's got some beautiful crochet shawls, and she's now going to have some beautiful crochet mitts, and these aren't your usual crochet mitts. These are very different and really amazing. So these are called the brioche, I think that's how you pronounce it, mitts, and they're like a brioche, a crochet version of brioche. And we all know I'm obsessed with brioche knitting, obviously. So now I can be obsessed with brioche crochet. So here is the first mitt. Obviously you can tell I haven't woven in any of the ends. So you can see how this is a crochet version of brioche knitting. You can see those columns and it's nice and stretchy, and it's got the same double layer like brioche knitting. Now let me see, I'll take this bangle off so I can give you the proper view of how this looks. Pretend you can't see all these ends hanging around. How amazing. How cool do these look? And they, oh my god, they're so squishy and warm and snuggly and cozy. And you got this gorgeous shaping up here, which is actually very similar to knitted brioche shaping. So that's really cool. I absolutely adore these. So I've done the first mitt, which worked up super quickly, and the pattern was beautifully written, and it was really intuitive, and the shaping was really intuitive, and I was so impressed. Like, I was really nerding out with the way that Deanne had written the pattern and the shaping especially. I was like, oh, that's so cool. That was, it's really, like, really nerding out. And then I started the second one. I haven't got too far along, but it's going well. Going. Really cool. Really excited. So this is due at the end of June. So I need to get those finished up before the end of June. And I'm really, really enjoying working on those. And I might be wearing those at Bendigo as well. And my next thing is an FO as well. Now it is one that I've been showing you for weeks and weeks, and I sort of put off finishing it because I don't think I was giving myself enough credit, and I think I thought it was going to be more complicated than it turned out to be, but I persisted with it and I finished it, and I'm so glad I did because I absolutely love it, and I've worn it a few times now and I adore it. And that is my Sourcebook cabled sweater, fitted sweater, pullover, Sourcebook fitted pullover, I think, by Nora Garn, and here it is. And it fits beautifully. I was really worried about the sizing all throughout making it. I thought it was going to be too small, too big, too small, too big, too small, too big. The whole time it fits beautifully, and all the things I was worried about, they're okay. It's fine. So I really love it. If you follow me on Instagram, you would have already seen a picture of it there. And I wore it out to lunch with my friend Anne the other day, and it was beautiful. It's really comfortable, it was nice and warm, and I really enjoyed it. It was really nice, and I'll probably wear this at Bendigo as well. So all finished, it's blocked, all the ends are woven in, it's put together, really happy with it. So excited about that, really excited. So that was a really happy FO, really, really excited. So speaking of Bendigo, I keep mentioning it, I am off to the Australian Sheep and Wool Show at Bendigo, and along with lots of other lucky people, and I'll be arriving on the Thursday. I'm staying for quite a few days, and I will be doing lots of different things, and I'll put a thread in the Ravelry group just to talk about a few of the things that I will be doing there. And you can ask questions in there. I do go to Bendigo a bit, so I know a few things around there. I'm not an expert, but I know a few things there, and if you are an expert on Bendigo, put some hot tips in there. Because people come from far and wide to Bendigo for the Australian Sheep and Wool Show, and if you're not a local, you don't always know the best places to go, and you know, if you want to find somewhere good to eat, you don't always know the best places, and if you want to do some things on the side besides the Sheep and Wool Show, there are lots of amazing things. I highly recommend the Regional Gallery, and there's also the Artisan Textile Festival. I don't know what it's exactly called. I'll put it in the Ravelry group so that I'm not just making up a name here. It's called something similar to that anyway, and it's at the North Bendigo Bowls Club, and it is always awesome. It's sort of a little sideshow to the Australian Sheep and Wool Show. Of course, the Bendigo Woolen Mills is always exciting. You could even go to the Bendigo Pottery Mill. I think it's called a mill. I don't know, I might be making that up as well. There's lots of really cool things. There's also a handmade market on the Sunday as well if you're staying for the weekend. It's called the Trove Market, and that's at the Good Loaf. But I'll put a link to it in the group as well, and there'll also be a link to the Ravelry group in the down bar below, so you can find that easily. This may be my last podcast before Bendigo, so if you've got questions or anything like that, do head over to the Ravelry group, just in case I don't get another podcast out before Bendigo. But you'll see me walking around, maybe in this, maybe in this, who knows. Spot the jumper. I'll be there on the Friday and the Saturday at the Sheep and Wool Show, and you'll probably see me getting around Bendigo anyway. come and say hello to me. I'm not shy, usually. I'm always happy to say hello, always happy to stop and have a chat. So definitely say hello if you feel like it. And I will also be on the Friday evening at the meetup with Peter from the Dingo Dye Works at the Shara Hotel. If you go into her Ravelry group, she's got a thread there talking about the meetup. She's organised a really lovely meetup there on the Friday evening, and that will be really nice. So I'm going to go along to that and to meet a few people that I am friends with online that I've never met in real life. So that will be really exciting. And a few people that you probably know online but don't know in real life are going to be there as well. So you might discover that you've got some online friends that are going to be there too. So that would be could be a nice place to meet up with some other friends as well. So I'll put a link to Peter's Ravelry group in there in my Bendigo thread as well, just in case you'd like to do that too. There's lots of interesting things going on in the next few weeks. It's going to be a really busy winter. Now, I've got one last thing to do before my camera runs out of memory. It is I'm really cutting it fine. So I better do this quickly. I need to draw a lucky winner for the giveaway for the So Close shawl that was kindly donated by Vicky from the Sweet Leaps podcast. It's her very first pattern, and it's a gorgeous So Close shawl. It's so beautiful. And she has kindly donated a copy, and I opened up a thread where you could show us all the yarn that you might use if you won the pattern or if you made the pattern. And I had 8 entries in that, or sorry, I had 7 entries. The first post in that thread was mine. So I've got random number generator here, and I've got 2 to 8. So the first one was mine, so 2 to 8. Let me generate a number. What have I got? Post number 2. Let's see who the first person was to react to that post. Who have we got? Who is it? Who is it? Who is it? Lucky number 2, that's Gypsy Latte. So, Gypsy Latte, I am going to let lovely Vicky know that you are our lucky winner, and she is going to gift that pattern to you. Oh, you're so lucky. It's such a gorgeous pattern. And congratulations, Gypsy Latte. That is all yours. Oh, I'm so glad that you won. That's so nice. So, Kerry, that pattern is coming to you. Beautiful. Well, just in case I do not see you before Bendigo, have a wonderful few weeks. And if you are coming to Bendigo, pack warm. It's going to be freezing. And I will look forward to seeing you if you're coming. And if not, I will see you in a couple of weeks. Take care, everyone. Bye.